people thought doing interpretation from Kinyarwanda into English or French simultaneously was impossible, but we made it. The UN set up a mission in Rwanda, and most employees, or I would say 99% of the employees were from outside, so they needed interpreters, and the very first interpreters were just doing by learning. Then they performed a little bit more better with time. I was interpreting from my mother tongue, Kinyarwanda, into English or French, and when the trial sessions began, we started first with consecutive interpretation. Then I took up a training for about 7 to 6 months and started going to the booth, doing simultaneous interpretation, using my mother tongue, of course, and that was in the aftermath of the Rwandan genocide. And we had most witnesses from rural villages, and they couldn't speak any other language, so I had to work. The trainers who came to the court while I was being trained, actually they were UN ICTR employees. They were interpreters doing either French to English or English to French. And we happened to have the current Chief of Language Section Services, Mrs. Justine Ndongo Keller, who was trained to train. She holds a PhD in interpretation training. The difficulties of interpreting from Kinyarwanda into a European language, well, I would, for instance, refer to what I was doing. It's not very easy to find legal terms which match exactly with the European languages. With time, we started, improving our mother tongue, terminology to match as much as possible with the meaning of the witnesses. It's really amazing. We built up kind of glossary to interpret the way we should. We were the link between the witnesses and everyone else in the courtroom. People had to tell their stories, whatever they went through, and sometimes it wasn't easy because you had to control your emotions. You hear about atrocities, and then sometimes you even have to change your tone depending on the way the witness retells the story and the emotions he shows or she shows to the judges and everyone in the courtroom. Sometimes you have to take a certain distance that would allow you to interpret without being very much struck or hit by what you're hearing from the witness. So you would just, with time, say, okay, I'm going to do interpretation, put my emotions aside, and do the best I can. The trials that were conducted helped people to reconcile, because some people were sentenced. To the eyes of the victims, of course, this is a kind of a remedy to the situation. And now, if you go to Rwanda, you see that people live with each other and they are reconciled.